The mining colony on Tethos 9 wasn't supposed to have rituals. It wasn't supposed to have sacred grounds. But the Cathara who'd settled there 3 generations before humans arrived had both, and Jared Thorne had learned early in his posting to respect what he didn't understand. That respect shattered the moment he heard the child scream. Jared dropped his surveying equipment and sprinted toward the sound, boots hammering against the rust-colored dust. The Cathara gathering parted before him, violet-skinned beings with elongated limbs and luminescent eyes that reflected his own horror. At the center of the crowd yawned the Pit of Ascension, a ceremonial chasm that dropped 200 meters into darkness. And dangling from a crumbling ledge 15 meters down was Liren. The Cathara child's small fingers clawed at the stone, her other hand clutching a ritual offering that should have been placed gently at the pit's edge. Her crystalline eyes, too large for her face, found Jared's. "Hold on," Jared shouted, already scanning for rope, for climbing gear, for anything. "The depths are forbidden," Elder Vorash intoned beside him, his voice carrying the weight of centuries. "What falls into the Pit of Ascension must complete the journey. It is law." Jared stared at the elder. "She's a child. She is Cathara. This is our way." Below, Liren's fingers slipped another centimeter. Her terrified whimper cut through Jared like plasma fire. Humans had been on Tethos 9 for 5 years. In that time, they'd built infrastructure, established trade, maintained careful diplomatic boundaries. Jared knew the regulations: non-interference with indigenous customs, respect for cultural sovereignty, 17 different subsections about appropriate interaction protocols. He knew all of it. He jumped anyway. The fall was pure instinct, arms tucked, body angled toward the ledge where Liren clung to life. Jared's shoulder slammed into stone, sending shockwaves of pain through his body. But his hand found purchase. His other arm swept out and caught Liren just as her grip failed completely. The child weighed almost nothing, her frame hollow-boned and delicate. Jared pulled her close, feeling her rapid heartbeat against his chest like a trapped bird. Above, the circle of shocked Cathara faces peered down, backlit by Tethos 9's crimson sun. "I've got you," Jared whispered, though he had no idea if she understood Standard. "I've got you." The ledge crumbled. They fell together into the ancient darkness of the Pit of Ascension. And Jared's last coherent thought was that at least she wouldn't die alone. Pain woke him, a burning sensation that started in his chest and radiated outward like he'd swallowed a star. Jared's eyes snapped open to absolute darkness, except for the glow. His skin was glowing. Luminescent lines traced across his arms, his chest, everywhere he could see. They formed patterns intricate, deliberate, unmistakably draconic. The mark writhed across his flesh like living fire, scales and wings, and a serpentine form that seemed to breathe with each beat of his heart. "Human Jared Thorne." The voice echoed from everywhere and nowhere, ancient and vast. "You have violated the Pit of Ascension. You have broken sacred law. You have interfered with the trial of choosing." Jared pushed himself upright, wincing. His entire body felt like one massive bruise, but nothing seemed broken. Beside him, Liren stirred, her crystalline eyes blinking open. "Where is she?" Jared croaked. "Is she alive?" "The child lives. Because of you." A figure materialized from the darkness. Not Cathara. Not human. Not anything Jared had ever seen. It stood 3 meters tall, composed of shifting shadows and starlight, with eyes that burned like binary suns. The Pit of Ascension is where Cathara young prove their worth to survive. It is trial by ordeal, by courage, by the will to endure. That's barbaric. That is selection. That is survival. That is how a species endures the cruelty of the universe. The being circled them slowly. Except, humanity does not believe in this. Do you? You save the weak. You protect the fallen. You throw yourselves into certain death for beings not even of your kind. It's called compassion. It is called foolishness. Yet something like amusement flickered in those stellar eyes. And yet, in 10,000 cycles, no being has ever entered the Pit of Ascension to save another. The Cathara, Do not. The Vryn. Do not. The Shkal do not. Only humanity fragile, short-lived humanity performs such acts of magnificent stupidity. The being reached out, and Jared felt pressure against the blazing mark on his chest. You have been judged by the ancient test not as Cathara, but as yourself. Your trial was not survival. Your trial was choice, and you chose sacrifice over law, compassion over custom, action over fear. The being's form solidified slightly, revealing features almost draconic. I am the keeper of the pit. I have witnessed 1,000,000 deaths, 1,000 cowards, 100 brave souls, but I have never seen anyone jump into the pit to save another from it. The dragon mark flared brighter. This mark is the symbol of the ancient protectors, those who threw themselves between the innocent and oblivion. It has not been awarded in 3,000 years. It grants you passage through any Cathara sacred ground. It names you Shield Brother to all Cathara. And it declares to the universe that humanity, despite your fragility, may yet teach the elder races what we have forgotten. The keeper gestured, and the pit walls began to glow with handholds that hadn't existed before. Climb, Jared Thorne. Carry Liren to the surface. Let her people see what you have become. The being began to fade. And let them fear and wonder at a species that would leap into the abyss for a single child, not their own. Jared climbed with Liren on his back, the dragon mark blazing against the darkness. Each handhold felt like salvation. Each meter gained a defiance of the universe's cruelty. When they emerged into the crimson sunlight of Tathos 9, the gathered Cathara fell silent. Elder Vorash stepped forward, his luminescent eyes fixed on the mark burning across Jared's skin. You bear the dragon's brand, the elder whispered, dropping to one knee. Around him, the entire gathering followed suit. The Shield Brother has returned to us. Jared looked down at Liren, still clinging to his back, alive and whole. The child's crystalline eyes met his, and she smiled the first Cathara smile Jared had ever seen. I just did what anyone should do. Jared said quietly. No. Vorash replied, rising slowly. You did what only humanity would do. And in doing so, you reminded us of what we have lost. The dragon mark pulsed once more against Jared's chest, then settled into a steady glow, a permanent reminder that sometimes the greatest strength isn't in following the law, but in breaking it for the right reasons. And that humanity's greatest weakness, their inability to stand by and watch suffering, might just be their most terrifying strength.